so we do ask everyone to please remain seated at all times. Now, our adventure begins here at the Little Ituri Forest. Here, a lot of animals use the cover of shade and trees to disguise themselves away from any potential predators. Be sure to keep a nice good lookout to where they may be hiding, because they can be around any corner or behind any tree here. On the right-hand side, you'll see the okapi. Okapi used to be thought as a mythological animal, similar to like a dragon or unicorn. That's because in the Western world they couldn't find the okapi until 1901. I might think the okapi might be related to a zebra because it has a stripy pattern, but actually it's more closely related to a giraffe. That's because the okapi's tongue and a giraffe's tongue share very similar qualities. They're both long, prehensile-like, and both use their tongues to gather leaves from trees and pull them into their mouths. Now we're going to head down towards the watering hole on the left. These watering holes are actually very essential. Some animals will actually migrate for hundreds of miles just to get a good drink of water out here. You may see several different animals around in this direction. On the far wall on the left-hand side, you'll see the black rhino. Now, black rhinos can weigh up to nearly 3,000 pounds. Their horns are made out of keratin. Keratin is stuff that's made out of your fingernails and hair. Now, black rhinos are critically endangered, as there's only 5,000 of them left out in the wild. They used to populate the entire continent of Africa until they were nearly poached to extinction. Now we're going to make our way a little bit further into the Little Ituri Forest. Start making our way over towards the other side. Emphasis on Little Ituri Forest, the forest aspect, as many animals around here do tend to migrate from time to time. Up on the hill on the left, you'll see a greater kudu. Greater kudu are a type of forest antelope. They will migrate from forest to forest in search of water. Now we're starting to make our way out of the Little Ituri Forest and into the Safi River. Within the Safi River, we're going to see a lot of animals that like to live on land and in the water for most of their lifetimes. So be sure to keep a nice good lookout, especially for any of the animals that may be hiding underwater here. On the right hand side, you might be able to see a hippo in the water. Hippos prefer to stay in the water for most of their lifetimes, and contrary to the popular belief, hippos do not swim. They would either swim on top of the river, or actually not swim, float on top of the river, or sink to the bottom and walk to the other side. On the left, you'll see the pink-backed pelican. Pink-backed pelicans usually get their coloration around the mating season. A little interesting fact about the pink-backed pelican is after about a week or two, once they hatch, they grow to full size. It would be difficult to tell between a fully grown pink-backed pelican and one that had recently been hatched. On the left, you'll see one of the hippos there. Now hippos can weigh up to nearly 5,500 pounds. They can hold their breath underwater for at least those entire 8 minutes. Now coming over on the left-hand side, you might be able to see some Nile crocodiles. Nile crocodiles can grow up to 15 feet in length and weigh up to 500 pounds. Another interesting fact about Nile crocodiles is that both mothers and fathers will carry the eggs in their mouth to protect the eggs from any potential predators. Now we're starting to make our way out of the Safi River and into the Greater Savannah. Within the Greater Savannah, we're going to see a lot of animals that like to graze from the tallest palm trees to the lowest grasslands, and everything in between out here. You'll also see several different animals that like to drink from this particular tree coming over on the right-hand side. This is known as the baobab tree. The baobab tree is leafless for about 8 months out of the year until the rainy season. Once the rainy season ends, the baobab tree will drop its leaves and all the water it collected is stored underneath the trunk. Animals then drink from the trunk of the tree, which gives it its nickname. tree of life. Now we're starting to make our way out into the savannah, and already you see several of the most recognizable animals out here. On the right hand side you'll spot the Maasai giraffe. Maasai giraffes can grow up to nearly 20 feet in height. They tend to walk around the savannah at speeds of 10 miles an hour, while running away from predators at 35 miles an hour. No two giraffes will ever share the same spot pattern, similar to how no two humans will ever share the same fingerprints. They're similar, not quite the same. Now we're going to approach this brush really closely, folks, and if you look over it, you might be able to see some African wild dogs nearby. African wild dogs are Africa's most successful hunters. These guys have an 80 to 85% success rate. That's because they actually know how to work together in a pack in order to bring down their prey. Because of their pack-like mentality, they actually make sure that the weakest among them is fed first. That way, they become stronger for later hunts. Now, the country of the African wild dog is known as the painted dog, based on the markings on their fur. On the left, you'll see the sable antelope. Sable antelope are the symbol of the Harambe Reserve. The long, curved horns of the sable antelope are strong enough to even propel a lion. Usually they'll come in two different colors. Males turn to a jet black color, females more of a reddish brown. On the right and left of you, you'll see these large rock-like formations. These aren't rocks. These are termite mounds. Termite mounds are made out of termite saliva, dirt, and dung all stacked together. When heated by the hot sun, termite mounds become as hard as concrete and allow both giraffes and elephants to use them as a scratching post. Antelope will sometimes climb on top of them to spy for any predators that may be hiding in the grasslands. Now, a little known fact about giraffes. Did you know? A giraffe will only sleep up to 30 minutes a day. Sometimes, never even a full solid 30. Sometimes may be broken up into 5-minute intervals. And they can extend their tongues 18 inches past their nose, reaching the many of the leaves high above. And a group of giraffes is also known as a tower. So what you see there is called the tower of giraffes. Now coming over on the right hand side, you'll see several different animals. The smallest one you see on the far right hand side is known as a springbok. Springbok can leap up to 6 feet high in the air and 13 feet forward. Behind them you'll see the white bearded wildebeest. White bearded wildebeests get their name from the Afrikaans word of wild beast. In other countries they are also known as new, since they make a grunting sound whenever they graze, which sounds a little bit like noo-noo. And behind them you'll see the Ankoli cattle. Ankoli cattle are the only domesticated animals on the reserve. The big horns that they have are actually hollow inside, made with a honeycomb-like structure of bone to keep the horns upwards. They have blood vessels that flow up and down the horn and back into their bodies that actually allows them to circulate their temperatures a bit. Now the Maasai tribe actually consider Ankoli cattle as a luxury. Owning one is actually considered very, very lucky to the owner. I might notice that out throughout the savannah that there's many trees that look like they've been felled over. See, originally a savanna started off as a forest, but then over time, large animals would slowly knock the trees down to make more room for themselves and for other animals. As more trees are knocked down, more grazing animals will come out into the open and graze at the open fields. It may seem that likely there may be a stop of hedgehogs, so we'll be here for just a little bit longer.
Mira, de acá se ven las vacas. Mira ese hueco, ¿qué es ese hueco? Un toro, sí. Guau, guau. Acá también la reina. Guau, la reina. Es toro. Un culo. ¿Qué pasa con toro? Acá.
Here's a much closer look at one of the springbok. You might notice with this one's horns that they're a little bit curvy. The males have actually curvier, longer horns than the female ones. Now we're going to start making our way over towards a more forested area of the savannah here. And here we might be able to see one of the largest animals out here. The male African elephant. Now male elephants, of course, they fly themselves most of their lifetimes. Female elephants, the ones you see in tight-knit family herds. Around the age of 13, the male elephant will leave its herd to form its own bachelor herds. Coming over on the left, you'll see some mandrills. Mandrills are among the world's largest monkeys. They can grow up to nearly 100 pounds. They are also relatively shy animals, which despite their shyness, can be found in colonies up to 100 of them at a time. Yeah, we're about to make our way a little bit closer to that elephant up ahead.
¿Koala? Acá no hay koala. Pero veo un elefante. ¿Ves la cola?
I think with elephants, that they tend to leave and form their own herds. So we're going to find the main herd to see where he actually came from.
Bastante grande, sí. We get to see more elephants. Saber más con la cola del elefante. ¿Cómo hace la
Look
cola?
over on the right-hand side. You might notice this red rock formation. Notice how it gradually turns more and more redder? That's because it contains a bit of clay. And if you see here on the right, you'll notice these tusk markings. It seems elephants have been nearby. Oh, look on the left. This is some of the female elephants. Now, a female herd is usually guided by a matriarch. The matriarch tends to have the final say as to where the elephants have to go to eat, sleep, and more specifically, the safety and care of any of the baby elephant. And speaking of baby elephants, some of you may be able to see the baby elephant on the left. Now when it comes to baby elephants, did you know that an elephant can only get pregnant once every 4 years? And they have a gestation period of nearly 24 months. Now on the left here, you will see the baby elephant there. You also might notice that each of the elephants have a little bit of dust or dirt onto their backs. That's because their skin is highly sensitive. And in fact, it's more sensitive than that of humans. Here, you might see this baobab tree. You might notice that there's a lot of markings on it. Seems elephant. Now when it comes to an elephant's diet, they consume up to nearly 300 pounds of food a day and 40 gallons of water. Also on the left, you'll see the greater flamingo. These flamingos are the lightest pink of the flamingo species. Their diet is highly consistent of carotene, found in briny shrimp and fish. Now, did you know that a group of flamingos is usually known as a flamboyance? And a flamboyance can contain up to 200,000 flamingos. That's quite a lot of flamingos. Now we're heading over towards the eastern savanna. The eastern savanna is a little bit more territorial than the western side, especially to the white rhinos you see on the left. White rhinos can weigh up to nearly 5,000 pounds. Their horns are made out of keratin, same stuff that's made out of your fingernails and hair. There's another white rhino on the right hand side there. Now, unfortunately for the white rhinos, they continue to be poached for their horns, even to this day, even though it's been proven that there's no real scientific or medicinal value to their horns. Thankfully, there's many animal programs nowadays that have managed to preserve the animal, such as the Disney Conservation Fund. Coming up on the left, you might be able to spot a cheetah nearby. Cheetahs are among the world's fastest land mammals. They can run up to nearly 50 miles an hour. They do tire themselves out after just a few minutes of running. Now, our researchers have once found out that apparently a cheetah's body is built more like a canine rather than a feline. In fact, they're not very feline sounding, I should say, as a cheetah emits high-pitched chirps to communicate with their cubs. Now, coming up ahead, guys, you'll see this Kopi rock formation. These Kopi rocks tend to jut out of the savanna, providing a really good vantage point for large predators. One such large predator is the African lion. Now, the thing with lions is that they're usually idle for at least 18 to 20 hours a day. Most of the day is usually spent sleeping. Sometimes they act like almost house cats at times. There's no guarantee we could see a lion around here, but they will usually be around this area.
Got a piece of meat. Lure him
Ooh, coming on the left here, you'll see some zebras.
Whoa.
These are plain zebras, also known as Grant zebras. It's found out that a zebra's kick is strong enough to break a lion's jaw. These are the only types of zebras that actually have their stripes reach underneath their belly to connect to the other side. Oh, there's some lions up ahead. The male lion is the one that's laying down. The female lion has a little bit more weight to it. Now, when it comes to lions, lions only have a 20 to 30% success rate when it comes to hunting. Also, a lion's eyesight is about the same as a human during the day. However, at night, their eyesight is 6 times better than a human's. They're able to see much better in the dark or in low light vision. Coming up on the left, you'll see some warthogs. Warthogs are among the largest known burrowing animals. At night, a warthog would actually burrow within their den and face the entrance, making sure that no predators would come and eat them. Now, warthog have 2 pairs of tusks. The upper pair are used to dig the holes in the ground. The lower pair are razor sharp. Coming around the right-hand side, you'll see some ostriches. Ostriches are among the world's largest birds. They can run up to nearly 45 miles an hour. And while they can't fly, they can still use their wings to direct themselves whenever they're running mid-step. You might have also seen some eggs when I was making that trend there. Those are indeed ostrich eggs. Ostrich eggs are at least 10 times larger than chicken eggs, and 30 times more denser. A human man can actually stand on top of an ostrich egg and it would not break. On the right hand side, you'll see some water bugs. Water bugs are a type of antelope that never migrate away from a water source. They usually just stay by that water source for most of their lifetime. Now we're starting to make our way forward here, folks. Over on the right hand side, you'll see the yellow-billed stork. Yellow-billed storks are a bird of prey. They tend to eat about anything they can fit their beaks around, be it frogs, crabs, fish, or insect. The thing with yellow-billed storks is that a lot of their habitats are lost due to major droughts in the area. Their populations have diminished over the last coming years. Now folks, we're about to leave the reserve now, so I hope you enjoyed today's Kilimanjaro safaris. We managed to see a lot of fantastic animals out here today. If you'd like to see some more animals, you guys are more than welcome to go to the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. At the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail, you guys can see gorillas, meerkats, naked mole rats, African bullfrogs, and several different species of African birds and fish. Now here at Kilimanjaro Safaris, we're all about the safety and conservation of all these animals. If you would like to help out, you're more than welcome to do so, whether by donating to local wildlife conservation, or simply by reducing, reusing, or recycling any of your waste products. Did you know just by recycling a bottle of water, you could be saving at least 10 to 20 gallons of oil? Recycling a stack of paper could save at least 10 to 20 trees. Now folks, here now we really don't like to say goodbye. Goodbye's a bit too sad and a bit too final. So I'm going to leave you guys with our saying, which is Kwaherini. Kwaherini means go well. So Kwaherini everyone. Have a wonderful day here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, wherever your adventures may take you today. Holding.